All right, all right, all right. Here we go. Here we go, you guys. Welcome to our show. This is We Have Some Notes with T and Tail. I'm T.
Hi.
That's T. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Welcome. Well, this show is tenderly titled This is a Mess because,
This week has
baby,
been a mess.
it's been crazy. It's hard to even keep up with all this stuff. When I tell you I have a notebook full of extensive notes for those, I'm not even kidding you. But how was your week
Lord.
so far, friend?
I want to lean into the positive. Okay, I will. I've had some sinus issues. I mentioned
Same.
that to you a little earlier. That just threw me for a loop.
Yeah.
I did go to the gym this morning, so
Okay.
I was out of practice. I'm in pain, but good pain. And then it's also my anniversary weekend.
Happy
And
anniversary.
yay! I am the weakest link when it comes to celebrating in my relationship. Like I forget. I'd be like, "Oh, that's today." You know how I know it's usually the men that are like that. It just always
They do run up on you. Anniversaries just run up on you out of nowhere. It's just like, oh, okay.
And I feel like I'm a little bit more considerate because I have shared notes of things that I want. He does not. He just don't let me know anything. But there is a box because I didn't want to open it yesterday. Yesterday is like my official anniversary day. I didn't want to open it yesterday.
Okay.
But there's a
like a box, there's
like a smaller but not really small, but small box. And he was like, "There's your gift." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna open it tomorrow at dinner." And he's like, "But why?" And so I was like, "Well, because I want to. I like to be a part of the celebration." And he's like, "Okay, you really should open it." And I was like, "No." So here's what happened. This is funny. I said, "Is it like certifications for a new dog?" Right? Because I've been wanting a second dog since I got the first dog. I know. I really want a big golden doodle and a small golden doodle. I got the small one. I want a big one. And he's like, "How about this? You can have a dog, but you cannot know what's in the box. If you choose the dog."
What's the dog in the box?
No, I was just playing. I was just BSing.
Okay.
I was just like, and he was like, "Okay, well," and he has been very adamant about no second dog. So I said, "Well, what the hell could be in the box?" That's a good offer, right? And I was like,
I think you should take the dog. You've been on the dog. She has been on this mission to get the dog for years.
He's telling me what's in the box is something else that I've been
set up. It's all a setup.
Set up by Todd.
It is definitely set up the Todd and them set up. Yeah.
I phoned a friend. I phoned my sister, and I was like, "Okay, apparently we playing millionaire games over here or something. What should I do?" And she's like, "Open the box." And I was like,
"No,
I feel set up." So, right? So, first of all, I need to have gotten that recorded from him or in writing because he has been very adamant about no second dog. So I don't know. So this
is breaking them down.
Yeah,
you're breaking them. Wait, so did you open the box? Or are you still waiting, or
I still haven't opened the box?
I think no,
because that was like.
I think you should get the dog. And honestly, truly, in this day and age, you should be able to get both. You should be able to get both. You should be like, "I want the dog. I'll take the dog," and then come back the next day and be like, "So what was in the box? I'll take that too." Like, why are we choosing in this day and age? Like, why are we doing that? Why are we doing that?
So that's been my week. Those are the things that happened to me from this week, and I'm trying to get it figured out. But I'm excited about tonight. But yeah. So what about you, friend? How's your week been?
first of all, I feel like we are having a mirrored experience because when I tell you I was down bad with a sinus infection,
Oh
the
my
girl
gosh.
was down bad. And it was to the point where usually I have to take like half a Benadryl. If I'm having like an immediate allergy or sinus infection, I'll
Yeah.
take a Benadryl because that works within the next
Real.
15 minutes, right? All the other
Mhm.
stuff you got to kind of build up in your system and wait for it a couple of days. But when you need
Yeah.
like immediate relief, I'm going to Benadryl. I know it's not good for you. So I try to take half, or even sometimes I take a piece of a piece, not even
A piece of a piece. Yes.
when I
When you
tell
gotta
you I
stay
was
up.
down so bad, I started with the half. I waited the 15 minutes. It wasn't working fast enough for me. I had to go get the other half. Waited another 30 minutes. That wasn't helping me. I went and got another whole. That still wasn't working. Then I started doing Alka-Seltzer Plus because that has a bit of an antihistamine in it and cold medicine just in case I had a combo coming for me and that wasn't working. And I had to hit it with some Dayquil. It was a lot. It was a
It
lot.
sounds like a lot.
Finally, I mean, all of the pressure was like in this area of my, it was bad. So I have been pretty out of it. We did celebrate our wedding anniversary. I think our anniversaries are like right neck and neck with each other.
Yeah.
Um, so we do part 1 and part 2. Just don't, it is what it is. I'm very spoiled around here. So part 1 anniversary was kind of low key. I got all the sushi that I wanted. We went to a movie. And then this weekend we do some things. I think we're gonna do like, because we're Harry Potter geeks, both of us, me and my hubby. So
Oh
we're gonna
yeah.
do like Harry Potter Enchanted Forest. And I'm excited about that. I don't know what that's about, but I'm excited for it. So
I can't
we
wait
shall
to hear
see.
about that. I want pictures too.
I can't wait to hear what's in this box. Like we are getting the surprise gift, and I want to know all the things that's inside.
I
So
wanna know too. I really do, but
immediately send me
also
a pic. Send me a pic.
it better be good. He better not be
I
like
know, because that build up. Listen, and if it's not, I'll take the dog. It
I'll
is
take
just
the
was not
dog.
up to my
I have to choose the
expectation.
dog before the box though. That's
I'm
the catch.
telling you, we're not negotiating with terrorists around here. I want both. Uh, all right, let's get into today's show. It is jam packed, you guys. It was it's so much
It's a lot.
going on around here, and I literally have so many notes for you guys. So let's just get right into it, so I can actually check my notes. All right, our girl Taylor Swift got engaged
Whoop, whoop.
this week on August 26th. I like to call her Tay Tay. So Tay Tay, on August 26th, announced her engagement to Travis Kelce on Instagram.
I
And as
love
you can see
it.
here, this is such a gorgeous. This is
I love
gorgeous.
it. It's gorgeous.
Okay, so pretty. Page 6 is reporting that Travis actually co-designed the ring himself, which is said to be an old mine brilliant cut gem set in a gold bezel. Look at that. Can I make this bigger because like it needs a moment. There you go. Good job, Travis. Tay got a lot of great things going on. She's got this new album coming out called Life of a Showgirl on October 3rd. We'll see if I catch any of the songs. I'm not really a big Taylor Swift song enthusiast. What's you doing the close up? What are you doing, friend?
I just wanted to see the ring a little better.
She has a new album coming out, Life of a Showgirl, October 3rd. We'll see if every now and then I get a song that is like that. It's me. I'm the problem, it's me. I vibe with that because I'm too the problem. So I like that one. Every now and then I get one or two Taylor Swift songs, not too many though, but I still love her as a person and artist. And apparently she is upgrading Travis. She is upgrading Travis because well, you know, they've combined the NFL with the Swifties. So
Oh, okay, okay,
yeah,
okay, okay, okay.
Forbes is now reporting that his jersey sales has spiked 200%.
Well,
Um,
damn. Let me marry
exactly.
Taylor Swift.
Exactly. So it's definitely giving an upgrade you situation. And I thought this was so cute. So I went over there on Elite Daily's Elite Daily's Instagram page, and they just have like Taylor, I guess, was at a game and she's like flaunting that ring, honey. She is flaunting this ring. People were like, we can see this ring sparkling from 3 miles away. Somebody said suddenly she's a lefty. I know that's right, Tay Tay. Let them know. Let them know.
We all become lefties after getting
I know that's right.
I became a lefty after getting engaged. Yes.
It's important. I mean, it's just important to, first of all, it goes with the outfits. It becomes like the centerpiece of the look of the day. You know what I mean? Suddenly you have to hold your drinks like this, you know?
Like,
You gotta start. You become very ambidextrous. So I'm very, very happy for our girl Tay Tay. And I can't wait to see her at the upcoming VMAs, right? Because that's what she shows out. When you get Tay Tay in the front row of these award shows, baby, she usually has on a cute little mini situation.
And she big ups everyone.
And she got a drink
up
in her hand.
everyone.
She knows everybody's songs. She knows everybody's lyrics. Okay.
Yes.
And she be going in like she is at the club. And I
absolutely. Yeah, she has a good time at the VMA.
You know, some people that don't want to be there.
It's fun to watch her.
Taylor Swift wants to be there. So VMAs are actually coming up, I guess, next weekend or so. They coming up pretty soon. First week of September.
2025 is flying.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Also over there in other people's news. What?
In other people's news. Okay.
In other people's news.
Okay.
Well, okay, I won't even do too much on it on my girl, but Ariana Grande has announced that she is going on the Eternal Sunshine Tour. Is kicking off in Oakland, California on June 6th. And she's going to be touring throughout August. It's going to end at the O2 Arena in London. This is actually, making my notes, Ariana's first tour in 7 years because our boo has been busy making yeah, so
that's a pretty long time.
Yeah, she's been in Wicked. You know, we got Wicked Part 2 is
coming out.
It's coming out in November. She actually has a movie coming out with Ben Stiller in 2026. It's going to be another Meet the Parents reiteration. So she has a lot of great stuff going on, but she has not forgotten about the music, and she's going to tour that album. Again, I actually rocks with a lot of Ariana Grande music and singles. I don't think I have really connected with the Eternal Sunshine album yet. I haven't really sat down with it and listened to the songs and just kind of vibed out to it yet, but I plan on doing so. I just get in my pockets where I listen to the same music over and over and over. It's hard to get me off of repeat.
I would like to know what the vibe is of this album.
I'm still trying to figure out if this album is the album that has The Boys Mind with Brandy and Monica, which we are completely thankful for Ariana, because that's what kind of kicked off their reconnection, and now we get the Brandy and Monica tour. But I don't know if that was a previous. It felt like that was pretty recent that they came up with that song.
Yeah, I just want to. I'm tell you why I want to know the vibe. Okay, I tend to be around a lot of like young girls, young women. I got tons of nieces, my daughter. Like, I just want to know what mood they're gonna be in once this tour starts. Like,
Yeah.
what's gonna be the mood? Because if so, I'm gonna back off. I'm gonna leave y'all alone. Or do I want to lean in? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I want to know what's
But
the overall
Ariana
mood.
has too many classic hits. It's kind of like, I don't want to, don't do it, don't do me. But I'm just saying, kind of in a way that Beyonce is always, no matter what the theme
Is
of
okay.
it is, we're always gonna get Crazy in Love. We're always gonna get, you know what I mean, like the heavy hitters in her catalog. We're always gonna get the heavy hitters in Ariana's catalog. So it's not gonna probably be solely
So
just the whatever the
I'm
move
just
was
asking
for this
for
album.
me. I'm just asking for me. I like to gauge how I'm gonna have to interact with the
People,
the girls,
yeah,
the girls sometimes because they get in it, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is how we feel today. So that's
mm-hmm.
all. But happy for Ariana. I want to see what that's gonna do. Want to see what she's gonna do. Tours are hard,
Tours are very hard, very taxing on the body.
Yeah. Your team got to be on it.
On
it. And I'm not gonna lie to you, coming off of 2 Beyonce tours, the expectations of like what are sales gonna do and all of that, and that's a lot. Yeah.
I mean, but she's gonna sell because she's Ariana Grande.
She's
So she's not letting that
sell,
part
but
of it.
they're
And it's
there.
smaller. I feel like it's following Beyonce's strategy. Like, it's less venues. Like, if you take a look at it, not a lot. She's doing certain places multiple times.
Oh yeah, that's
like
not
New
a
York
lot.
is getting 4 dates. UK is getting 4 dates. Everybody else is getting just a couple of dates, but it's really just like what, almost like 10, 11 stops. So that means more people from everywhere else are going to be rushing to get these. These are going to be some hard to get tickets right out of the gate. So
I love that for her. I know she's gonna do amazingly well, but it's got to be like nerve-wracking to have not done a tour in 7 years, and then you're back out there.
I know.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
She's been doing this.
She's a pro.
She's been doing this since 12. So
I'm just thinking about the naps that I would need. That's all.
We are always thinking about.
It's a lot to pull all that together. That's a lot. Like, once you start
getting my nap time. Excited for our girl Ariana. This is really random, but I want you guys to see these 3 movies that I recently saw. Okay. Weapons. Baby. Have you heard of Weapons?
No. I am gonna look it up though. Okay, Weapons. Continue.
It is creepy. They was on one with this movie. If you have seen Weapons in the comments, please let us know that you've seen it and what you thought. Weapons was so tripped the F out. It was trippy. But if you
this is my girl from the Ozarks.
Yes, Ruth from the Ozarks. Rose. What's her name? Rose or Ruth?
I think it was Ruth.
Okay.
But either way, that's my girl from Ozarks.
Yeah, she's the lead.
And this looks creepy as all hell.
So creepy. It's not scary. It's not giving you Conjuring, like,
more thriller.
But it is not thriller. It's scary. It's just not scary. It's just creepy. It's creepy. It's giving grown up Goosebumps or something. Grown up, Are You Afraid of the Dark? It's not cozy at all. I don't know. I feel like I'm taking you down the wrong path, the wrong road. We're going down the wrong road. But you just have to see it. Okay. Another movie that I saw recently that you guys have to go see. Freakier Friday. When I tell you they hit every note that needed to be hit with that movie, and just making it feel like oh, okay, we're not taking from the original, we're actually adding something into it. It still has all the same kind of warm, cozy feelings in it. It's got this kind of like cute little adult vibe, but like the kids will get it and understand it and lean into it. Jamie Lee Curtis, freaking hilarious.
She's a master of her craft.
I have not laughed so hard in a movie in so long. That movie was so funny, so cute, so cozy. If you're a parent, if you're a mom, especially, I definitely recommend taking your daughter, your kids to go see that movie. It was so good. And then the last one I saw, because I listened to my elders. Okay, Denzel Washington told me go to the theater and see this movie. I went to the theater to see Highest to Lowest. You guys should see it. If you see it in the theater still, go see it. I know that it's coming to Apple.
Is it?
Apple TV. Yeah, it's coming to Apple TV soon.
Is it already away from the theaters?
I'm not sure. It was a very limited showing to begin with.
Wow.
Yeah, so those were 3 movies. If you've seen those movies, leave in the comments what y'all thought and if you recommend anybody else to see those movies, because I thought they were stellar.
That's amazing.
I just wanted to give us some lightness
before we get into the mess of it all.
When I tell you it's messy, madness, messy from here on out. It's gonna get messier and messier for the rest of the show. So, all right.
Y'all, I don't always know what Chantel's gonna pull out. So we'll get there. I'm gonna be as surprised as you all are.
Oh my goodness.
I guess we go. But I do know it's been a messy week.
I mean, it was a lot. I was trying to start the show off with something light and happy because
you hit it. I'm really excited personally. Okay. I think everyone else would be too. I'm loving the recommendations.
Okay, cool. All right, let's get into some mess, y'all. I got my notes. All right. So what we want to talk about today, starting off this mess, is Tyla. Let me make sure you guys can see this on the screen. I feel like we didn't spend as a people enough time on this story. So I just want to circle back. Okay. Because Tyla actually collapsed a couple weeks ago. She was in Sao Paulo, Brazil on August 20th. And fans say they caught her being whisked off. It was drama. Whisked off by who they thought was maybe perhaps security. I'm actually just going to show you all the video because I mean, when you see it, you're gonna better understand. Do you see that? Whisk. Okay. The guy is literally running to the car. They put her in the backseat of the truck. She's clearly not with us. This is not she does not appear to be like all right, so she definitely looks completely out of it. When this video started circulating, there were a lot of rumors being spread. Of course, fans were expressing their concern online. People didn't know if she had passed out. People didn't know she was having some kind of health emergency. Let me show you what TMZ had to say in response, because TMZ girl, what are you talking about?
My goodness.
I know it looks really, really bad. So TMZ comes out with this report and they kind of just leave this all up to her. One, having a little bit of heat exhaustion. They say sources with direct knowledge tell TMZ after a jam-packed promo week in a little bit of heat exhaustion, the pint-sized star was wrapped up the night after spending some time with fans. And they later go on to say that, it was just her being carried away after a long day because bedtime came knocking. Sources tell us security scooped up the petite powerhouse just before midnight, not because of any drama, but because bedtime came knocking. And let's be real, if anyone deserves to be carried out like royalty, it's the girl who's been running the game without missing a beat. Now, again, I implore everybody, if you can be anything in the world, I want you to be so for real. TMZ, does this look like somebody being whisked off to go night-night? I too love to take a nap. Does this look like nap time has arrived? Like, look at the urgency in the care. Like, when she's in the back seat, it apparently looks as if someone is trying to, like, wake her up, check on her. Are you okay? Like, kind of shake her awake. So I thought that was strange. Making matters even more strange, Tyler posted this the very next day, which is a picture of Beyonce from back in the day when Beyonce actually was a little tipsy in the back seat. She's got that infamous green dress on and she is laid in a fade. Okay, she is laid out. So here we have Tyler implying that she was just a little tipsy that evening, but it's directly contradicting TMZ's reports that this was due to heat exhaustion, that there was no drinking, and that she just deserved to be whisked away for a little bedtime. I don't know what's going on.
What? What? You just told me about 3-4 different stories all in one.
Well,
what? I thought she was just coming off stage. This is thing. I have many thoughts on this. First of all, the first one I'm going to come with, Kyla's team has been failing her for a minute. Like I don't know if this is like a cultural breakdown and like a level of like not being media savvy or not being media savvy on this side of the world. I don't know what is happening, but her team, I can say for sure, has failed her in terms of how they communicate with media outlets, period, right? Because that didn't, even though TMZ is reporting that, I'm sure they got a statement from someone from her team. So that's number one. Her team has just not, like, we have this, she's talented, she's beautiful, people were very, very interested, and it's a little too soon to be having like craziness come out. And it's friend, you are nowhere near where you need to be having Beyonce catch a stray. What was that about? Now, how'd she get in it?
How she get in it is, I definitely 1000% am putting this on Tyla's team. Tyla needs new people. Tyla needs new people, and not only does she need new people at the label, she just needs new people, in my opinion, and
around her.
Take some notes. Don't nobody listen to us anyway. Nobody asked us, but I'm gonna tell you, you just need better people around you, period. Yeah. All of my empath type of intuition type of energy, whenever I see stuff about Tyla, it's just like, I hope this girl is okay. I hope this girl is covered. I hope this girl is protected, because this is not the first, the second, or even maybe the third time that I have heard something about Tyla being injured or something happening to her physically that has impaired her since she's dropped on the scene. I remember she had when she first broke out and she first had water come out and blow up over here. She was supposed to do some big, I don't know if it was a tour or a concert, and then that got canceled because of some type of injury. And I thought that was very kind of weird and bizarre, because why are we canceling it instead of like rescheduling it? You know what I mean? She just had like back-to-back instances where it just is clear to me, especially in the context of what we kind of know is murky in the border with the entertainment industry, the music industry particularly, that she may not be in the best of care. So I'm really praying for her. I hope that she's fine, that she seems to be back on the scene, making appearances, but it just goes to show you that these artists are not protected. They're not even doing their bare minimum due diligence to protect her reputation, because that's a child. That's a whole very, very, very young adult that you have positioned as an international, global superstar.
I just think her team
out of the gate
has fumbled. I just think, being those, the two of us, we came up in the late 90s, early 2000s era. We can name a plethora of very talented individuals where you don't know their name now, but it was because of the people who were around them. It was because of their teams. And then we can name a plethora of people that came through the ranks and had very successful or have very successful careers because they had really good teams, really good people around them. So I just think we're watching in real time someone not have the best team.
Not having the best team. And let me tell you something. If you're surrounded by people who do not care about your physical health as well as your mental health, especially when you're on this type of stage, there should be so much into making sure your body is conditioned, making sure you are, eating healthy, that you are not getting dehydrated. That shouldn't be a thing. That you are, just kind of like in the condition to be traveling nonstop takes a toll on your body. And they should be interested in preserving you for as long as possible, instead of being okay with the burnout in that lifestyle. And if they are encouraging that, or they're not there helping to protect you to not be in a position to have longevity, then it's already like, whoa, wrong road. They're going down.
Yeah, they're just selling her. And I think, to your earlier point, she's a little on the young side to even no, it's a lot of stuff happened this week where young people are just like, you're not as wise as you think you are, it's actually really sad to see and sad to watch such an opportunity get fumbled in this way. Like, it's really sad to watch in real time. But I wish her nothing but the best. I hope it's not anything serious, because it was very scary to see.
Wasn't that?
That was very scary.
I know you guys are probably, some of you may be listening to us on the audio podcast. Thank you so much. You can go to watch us here on YouTube, and we're sharing the footage so that you can kind of see what we're seeing. And it's very, very, very scary, that image of her being carried off in that way. That was not she's getting TMZ.
Yeah. If you're my friend and I see you being carried off like that, or that's a family member, I'm wondering why that person is not being taken to the hospital. I'm wondering why an ambulance is not on site. That looked hella scary.
I am praying for the covering and protection of Tyla. That's it. That's all. All right, let's get into this next topic. A lot going on.
No.
I watched over this past week the new Netflix documentary about Jussie Smollett.
Oh, girl, you tapped in. Okay. Okay. Do tell.
I'm going to play a little bit of the clip for you guys. I don't know if you can. I don't know if you can see this. Let me set this up so that you can get it on a big screen too, so that you can see it real clearly. Okay, so it is called The Truth About Jussie, The Truth About Jussie Smollett, child. Let's listen to a little bit of it.
January 29th, 2019, police were called to an incident. They see an actor called Jussie Smollett with a noose around his neck. He says that he was the victim of a hate crime.
To think that I had two white guys attack a black man in this city was disgusting to me.
This is on Netflix right now. You guys can go over there and watch it. It was truly a good watch for me, child. Let me look at my notes. The voice you last heard was that of former Chicago Police Chief Eddie Johnson. I thought that the documentary overall was pretty well balanced. Look at your face. Look, so many thoughts. I thought it was pretty well balanced. It gave the Jussie's side of things. It gave the brothers who were accused, Ola and Bola, I'm not sure their names, child. They were in it. It had some of the detectives working the case. We saw former Chief Eddie Johnson. He was there. And so I don't know if he told you guys, but T and I are from Chicago, right? Like we are in Chicago. So we were in Chicago when this madness happened on January 29th of 2019. And I wasn't far away from this area. I worked in that area. I lived not too far from that area at the time. So it's all very kind of like closer to home to us than it probably is. Please, what's your face? If you guys could see
I'm sorry.
So we go through it. We go from day one. They kind of show how Frank Gatson, yes, that Frank Gatson, who was once Beyonce's creative director, called the police over to Jussie's condo at the time. And he is the person who wanted to make the report. And we see things kind of take a turn once the police chief, former Eddie Johnson, became suspicious because he saw a video glimpse of Jussie Smollett after the incident on camera, stepping into the building, and noticed that the Subway sandwich was in mint condition. Okay, in mint condition in the bag after he got into some fisticuffs. I personally do not think that is good police work. Personally, I don't think, because do you know how sturdy Subway is? Do you know how sturdy Subway?
Those are your notes.
Listen, I have some notes. These are all personal anecdotes. Okay. Subway is sturdy. I remember even seeing this stuff online when it first happened, and people were like, this is so unbelievable, because who would be at Subway at 2-3 in the morning? Me. Hello. That's why they're 24 hours. Like, that's what we do. I don't know if this is
we don't have every Subway open here for 24 hours for no reason. It's because people be there.
We go to Walgreens, we go to CVS, we go to Subway. Yeah, you get hungry in the middle of the night sometimes. At 2-3 in the morning, you go get you a Subway salad or a sandwich. Like, this is not, I didn't blink twice when that part of the story unfolded, but apparently that caused and raised suspicion to former police chief Eddie Johnson, who thought that he should have not been with this sturdy looking Subway sandwich in the middle of the polar vortex. They also go over, they ask Jussie to turn in his phone to him. Raise your hand if you're going to give your phone to the Chicago Police Department after filing a police report on someone else. I don't even know how we got there. Like, I don't know how we got there in the investigation. Thank you so much for calling us and reporting that someone beat you up and made racial remarks. Let's see your phone. Why would that be a natural flow of anything, right? So it doesn't give great justification for why they didn't really, in my opinion, of why they didn't believe him in the first place. They go on to kind of go through how they started searching the video cameras. They saw two guys. They start working backwards, trying to trace these guys' movements. They noticed they went into a rideshare, so they started doing the, investigation on the rideshare companies, and that's when it came out that it was Bola and Ola, right? They lived in the same area that the suspicious guys were in, and so that's when it kind of really started going left. But however, Jussie pretty much stuck to his claim that no, these weren't the guys. I saw two white guys. They were clearly white guys. Can't be them. I actually know these people. Never really implemented or not implemented, but what is the word? He never kind of like said that he thought that it was Ola and Bola. Okay. Sidebar, Ola and Bola, if that's your name. Ola and Bola, immediately red flags go on. Like when they came on Blue Ivy's internet, they immediately look like they are up to no good. Okay. Clout chasing to the max. To the max. All right. Okay. So that was apparent. And something else that kind of got lost in the sauce was that there were other credible witnesses, at least two other credible witnesses. Mm-hmm. One was a white woman that lived in his condo. Another one was a black bellhop from a nearby hotel that say, no, we saw two white men. We really saw a white man in this vicinity, and that's who we told. Like the black bellhop says he went to the police station. He very specifically told them, I saw a white person. They took him to a lineup where it was only black guys. He said, I don't see the person here. I'm telling you the person I saw was white. And they go, yeah. Well, just pick the person closest to what you see. What am I doing here? I'm telling you the person I saw was white. So it was all very, very, very muddy.
So is this one of those ones when you get to the end of the documentary and it's really like, go ahead and make a conclusion yourself? Like there's no,
you get to the end of this documentary and it's like, Jussie probably was lying, but he wasn't lying about all of this. You know what I mean? Okay. Like it's definitely clear, and they bring up the poor credibility of the Chicago Police Department, which
okay,
on brand. And they say even the actual police officers that were investigating them had loads. They bring up the tons of kind of like criminal complaints and charges and lawsuits that they actually that they had. So zero credibility with the CPD. And I guess on any other day, if I have to take somebody's word versus a CPD, I'm going to take not the CPD's word. It feels like it was very politically motivated. It feels like it was just all very weird. It was all very weird. I will say though, I had a family member right around the time this happened. I don't know if it was right before or right after, because this was so long ago, but I did have a family member who was at a Target parking lot in Tinley Park, and she got jumped by a gang of white men that were yelling that MAGA stuff at her. And she came to work because we worked together. So she came to work next day with like a bloody like cut in her eye. It was a whole situation.
Wow.
And the police were like, we can't do anything because the security cameras at Target weren't really working and da 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 da. So there was a lot of racially charged violence throughout Chicago and Chicagoland area around that time. Again, that just makes it just very plausible that this actually did happen to him. The sad part is you really just can't trust celebrities. I think that's the issue. It's just like they do weird stuff and we don't know for why. We'll get more into that later. But yeah, it's clear to me that they took it to everybody took this too far. I think pressing charges against him was too far. He's the only person they had beat up. So I just think that whole situation was too much. It was an interesting
ride. It blew up way more than it ever needed to. I just think it got politicized, whether he's telling the truth or he's lying. Either way, I was very perplexed when it just turned, because we're here in Chicago. And I don't know how it's, felt across the nation when it was being reported. But there was some pretty serious things going on here, and it just dominated the news cycle. And you just had this push to I'm like, okay, if he lied, isn't he supposed to pay a fine and y'all are supposed to move on if he did indeed lie? But it was just like, no, we're going to make an absolute example out of this. I'm still let's say if he did lie, I'm still not understanding what the rationale would be of him lying. I'm still not understanding what the rationale or benefit would be for him to lie. I don't see it, because at the time the show Empire was so big. It was such a phenomenon. So he had all of the eyes on him, the notoriety, only going up in his career from there. He was a fan favorite of the show. So I'm not that part. I still struggle with the motive.
And to your point, he also had just signed a really major record deal at that time. And so he was about to drop an album. And I feel like his music career or trajectory could have been kind of on par with a John Legend. I feel like that's the kind of voice and the kind of music that he probably would have came out with. It's, to your point, it's just all very
nothing feels right about it.
We were going to plot this out. Let's plot this out. Let's just say we weren't just smoking high one day and it just wasn't just something we came up with at the whim, and we actually decided to plot this out, right? Would I, Jussie Smollett, not have the resources to hire actual white men for $50?
Nondescript white men to be seen on the scene. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. The entire situation is so weird. Again, if he was lying, the lie is weird.
The lie is weird.
What is the motive? The police response to the alleged lie is weird. The prosecution of the alleged crime is weird. I've not seen y'all go this hard for actual criminals. It's just everything about the story is hella weird. It makes me, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but I'll be a conspiracy theorist for a moment here. And it's just giving did he know something about someone somewhere? Was it a ruse set up just to do this? It has me thinking that way. Did someone set him up to take him down? Maybe he, say he really was attacked and he reported it. And then it was we got these two guys waiting to say, oh no, it was really us or something. The two African guys that you keep calling.
Bola and Ola. And wait, this brings me to, I forget to mention, it is heavily implied in this documentary that Bola and Ola had, at least one of them had a criminal
I know about that.
And that they were presented with some type of sealed deal. Okay. And they have footage. They show this footage of the lawyer actually talking to them about this deal. And so it's not that far of a reach to say you have a deal somewhere. Like, they come back, they show everybody's story. So they have the lawyer there giving her, and she's also very camera ready. Like, she's very excited to be
on camera.
But it's very much so, okay, well, I'm not about to, I'll say whatever. Like, okay, let's get it, because we have this deal. Like, it doesn't, because at first they weren't talking. Like, at first they just weren't talking at all. It's just weird. The whole situation.
The whole thing is weird. The whole thing is weird. I am gonna watch it though. So thanks for putting that back on my radar. I think the city shots were beautiful. That's my positive.
I love seeing the city of Chicago on camera. I do. It's all right. Beautiful. So listen, from one possible not so truth-telling person in the industry to another. Let's get into this next. I think you know where we're going with this one. Oh, child.
It could be more than one person, because this week has been a mess. It may not even be what I'm thinking.
No, it's what you're thinking, boo. You sent this to me.
Oh, Lord.
I was having my sinus infection, minding my business. It was 10 o'clock at night, and I saw this come in on my messages. I immediately called you because why are you playing on my phone?
I immediately put my phone down and went to sleep.
The people. We're referring to Tamar Braxton. Is she the little girl who cried, broke your nose? We don't know what's going on. So
it's a lot.
There is a lot.
There's too much.
There is a lot going on. This past week, Tamar Braxton came on Blue Ivy's internet, letting us all know that she suffered from something where she woke up, was missing teeth, nose was messed up, was in a pool of blood, and had no recollection of what happened to her. Immediately after this whoopla of people sending thoughts and prayers over to Tamar, hope she's okay. We don't know what's going on. Oh my goodness, what is this video of her and Funky Dineva at a party? Like, they were at a party, so then people started accusing Funky Dineva.
Right.
Because he was like, why would you
seen with her publicly?
Why? What did you let happen to her? And then he's like, I don't know nothing about nothing. She called me and asked me for Dr. Heavenly's phone number, because you guys know Dr. Heavenly is a your husband will always come. Your husband will always come in your scene making noise when they know you are recording. But she is this amazing dentist. And he's like, I gave her the number. She didn't really tell me much of what was going on. So I don't know nothing. I'm with y'all. And then, so we're still trying to play Clue a little bit of like, what's going on with Tamar? There's just always some chaos surrounding her. It's always some drama. Like, what is that about? And then you send me this clip that's, I guess, a trailer. Let's just play a little bit of sound, because
even be dealing with him.
And you around here going through by that lady husband? What? Girl, you a better woman than I ever
be. Oh, wait a minute. They are not together.
Okay, Vince, I need advice.
What do I do?
You gotta know the show first.
I didn't cheat. I got taken down.
And you expect for him to get over that?
that's enough of that. Not too much for Tamar because she has drained me. So this is a trailer, I guess, that features Vincent Herbert, her ex-husband. Funky Dineva is in it. I want to say that girl's name, the green hair, is Laura, but please forgive me if I'm not saying it. She doesn't have you listed here in the credits, so I don't know, child. And
Nivea was in it.
Nivea, she's even got Mama Evelyn in it talking to her. And most importantly, it's got her hugged up, kissing on, and canoodling with Mendices. Now, she does not watch Love and Hip Hop no more. She tapped out, but I'm still over there. I'm in all the ratchet people business. Okay, I watch all the ratchet people shows. I'm committed. I'm pot committed. And Mendices and Yandy are over there having a time. They are having a time. They are in a bunch of drama, all surrounding both parties being having infidelity in their marriage. It has been an ongoing storyline all this season long on Love and Hip Hop. They've actually even now fallen out with Rashida and Kirk, who they claim they're not being honest with people, that they are in this open relationship. They've been going back and forth. It's really, really bad. And so this infidelity rumors are running rampant with Mendici. So to see him pop up with Tamar immediately made people go one or two things. One, so Tamar's the other woman? Like, this is the woman that Mendici is cheating on Yandy with? Like, what's going on? Or two, people were like me and like, so y'all really logged in on Blue Ivy's internet, okay? And you made this whole story up. Tamar, you made this whole story up as a PR stunt to promote your upcoming album, which, by the way, because of this, not only will I not play at all, I won't listen to a single song, I won't watch a single video because of this stunt. I'm actually gonna mute and block you after this because this was too. You took it too far.
I'm so confused.
We don't know what part of this is real. We don't know if all of this was just you setting up a stunt so that you can promote the album. We don't know if you really got sick while you were also still setting up this stunt to promote the album with Mendices. We don't know if you really did all of this because you want to go get a nose job and reveal this new body, this new makeover. Like, all of it is within your wheelhouse. Why? You're so talented. Why is Tamar playing these stupid games?
The levels of chaos, confusion, calamity. May it never find me. Tamar is, this is the thing, and I think we make allowances for people that we deem sometimes beautiful, sometimes talented, sometimes a combination of the two, that we always put in the best light, even when they've shown patterns where they should never even be given that level of grace, at least not from us, the humans. At this point, I'm gonna say it like I mean it. Tamar has a track record that really sets us up for this. Like, this is where this shouldn't really come as a shock or a surprise. The methods in which she goes about things, sure. She has burned every bridge she has ever walked across, at least publicly, that I can see. We had her with her sisters. Bridges have been burned. You can go through the layers of that and be like, oh, it's just family issues, this, that, and the other. She had to deal with WeTV. We didn't know. We knew she was Toni Braxton's younger sister who had range. But other than that, we weren't too clear on what it was and what it wasn't. And so she had to deal with WeTV. And for a time, she burned that bridge. She got put on with on OWN with Iyanla, and Yolanda was just trying to like call her in, hold her accountable. She set that bridge aflame. Okay. We thought, and I get it, it's a marriage, a whole lot of stuff goes on in people's marriages you know nothing about. But for all intent and purposes, the way you've presented your marriage to us during the time that he was on the Braxton Family Values and everything, he was the best thing since sliced bread. He's your everything. He's amazing. And then you threw him and his reputation under the bus. Then we get to the real. You are doing amazing on that show. Your personality really fits with that show. It's just such an incredible, like, seems like balance there for you with the ladies. Then you burn the bridge you had with them. And they were very, I think, from what I could see from the outside looking in, she had a lot of stuff going on outside of the show. So I recall her having to take a lot of days off, kind of like the way Whoopi takes every Friday off on The View.
Yeah.
They were very accommodating to her very busy schedule because she was that girl at the time she was on The Real. She burned the bridge with the network and producers of The Real. And at least one particular lady on that show who from what we could see, it's still, even if it's just a coworker, as a coworker from outside looking in, it looked fine to me. Like it looked, everybody else. I've not heard anyone else have problems with this same with Lani Love. Nobody else has called it out because usually that's what happens, right? Every bridge has been burned. Confusion, chaos, calamity follows Tamar everywhere she goes, everything she does, everything she touches.
She is the problem.
She's the common denominator. And it doesn't matter that she has the voice of an angel. She is the common denominator. Doesn't matter that she is Toni V. Braxton's baby sister. She is the common denominator. What she did this week was absolutely insane. If you get an injury, however you got it, whether it was through an attack, whether it was something medical, a medical emergency, whatever it was, why wouldn't you hold off on releasing this project? This project got to wait. I'm over here injured. I can't do nothing for it. Let's push it out 30 days. We'll see where I am. Check back in at that time. Then to allow rumors to swirl about someone who did nothing to you, Quentin, Funky Dineva, however you all refer to him, to allow those rumors to just swirl and you not say a single thing, and he has to strong arm you to say anything, that is insane. Why the confusion? Why the chaos? Why the calamity? Even you could have even just given a person on your team license to say something.
So clearly the teams are not in the room with us. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, but it's clear to me that the teams are not in this was a horrible rollout. The idea was horrible. And it would have taken nothing for Tamar to be like, I'm coming out, y'all. Get ready. Show us some behind the scenes of her in the studio, being talented, working, singing, working with the producers.
Right.
writing the songs, shooting the videos, getting in shape, whatever it is, getting in condition, whatever you're doing, vocal lessons, healing, that would have taken you nothing. And we all would have been not only still very interested in talking about the project, but we would have been rooting for you. Now we're sitting here and trying to figure out, and then she has so much, she still has enough brand equity where that she can still partner with a reality show or a reality network or Zeus or WeTV, or I don't know what her contract is like. Even she just comes on YouTube at this point, because all the housewives of Atlanta and the Bravo girls just come and create their own, they do their own content on YouTube. So it would have taken nothing for you just to do it that way.
Absolutely.
Instead of pulling these stunts are for people who need auto-tune. These stunts are for people who stand in one spot and can't move. These spots are for people who don't have Toni Braxton as a sister. Like, what are we doing? Just sing the song.
I don't know. I don't know. It's a level of I think there is this thing, because we recall her when she originally came out on BFV, Braxton Family Values, and her expressing how badly she wanted a career in the music industry, like a singing career. Like she desperately, like really wanted that and felt like it was starting to happen for her. And so to see her constantly fumble, it's like all you had to do was drop an album every 2 years with your amazing voice. That's it. Nothing else. You ain't even had to tour. You could have did like the shortest little, snippet of a tour. Y'all come see me. I'm not moving all around. We would have been like all in on that. Like we felt, we heard your story. We connected with you on that story. Like we heard your hurt when she, expressed that. The antics and everything. And she has to remember, we're all growing, right? So where you were when it was, that's the bomb.com, when Braxton Family Values first started, where you were in your maturity, maybe you haven't grown, but the rest of us have. And those are the people that you pulled in. And now we're still growing and maturing. And we're like, hold on, what is going on with you? This behavior is not okay. Like at first we could excuse it as she's the baby sister, she's just gotten her way all this time. Oh, this happened to her. But now it no longer can be excused. You are someone's mother. You're supposed to be an example. Like, what is the reasoning behind all of this?
I don't literally, she's doing the most when she can do the least and be so much more effective. Like,
exactly
what we love about Tamar was, one, the little catchy catchphrases, right? So it was like the bomb.com and all that. Give us more of the playful side of you doing that. Even when she used to make those songs like Tony's got like
Tony
do that.
Always late. Yeah, it was cute.
Tony always late. Come online and make up new fun songs all the time. Like, you can engage us in a way that is a little bit more wholesome, and you're not relying on this drama. Like, I don't know who told you, but they lied to you. So let's just clear it up for you so that you can now have another perspective. We liked you and we're rooting for you when you were relatable, when you were funny, when you were showing your talent.
Fun loving.
We don't like this dark energy, this chaotic energy, this messiness, this always combative in a argument with somebody, just this randomness.
Very attention seeking. I have to agree with you on that
one. We don't want to see you doing that. We just want to see you kind of being a little bit more, just chill out. Just chill out and let the talent.
I think honestly, and I know you usually would not tell this to anybody at this stage in their career at her particular age. I would tell her to take a year off. Take a year off, do all of the things, explore what's going on with you. Just take a step back. Don't take nobody's reality show. Don't do anything publicly. Just step back and take a year off because it is giving, I'm going to say it like I mean, it's giving deranged at this point. It's giving deranged. I'm sorry that this week was so it was so weird. Everything about it was super weird. The doctor coming out and telling her story, but there was no detail. Like, what? So she just starts sleepwalking at 49, 48, 50 years old, just starts sleepwalking. That doesn't make sense. When you say a pool of blood, was it like like was it 7 inches around her, 10, 15? What does that mean? Why do we know? Why is she not just in a hospital? Then she comes out and she's doing her makeup. Why are you doing your makeup on a live? Aren't you
like, know who it reminds me of? Do you remember that what's her name? Carly Russell story?
No.
Let me refresh her. I don't know if that's her correct last name, but Carly is definitely the first name. And it's about that little black girl who said she saw a toddler on the side of the road.
Oh, Lord.
And she later went missing. And then she came back and was recovered. And it all was a scheme that Ty set up so she can get the attention of some guy.
Absolutely. Yeah, I recall.
And we were all, not we, because I'm gonna let you know I was clear on it, but lots of people were sending thoughts and prayers, and it was just something I couldn't even tell you, but it was just very much something told me, give it some thoughts, but not no prayers. And see, that's another thing. We gotta stop giving prayers to people. No, this is no facts, because y'all making our prayer score go down. Okay, what is a prayer score, you ask? Let me tell you, it's like a credit score, but it's with him up there. Okay, so you want to be able to get through on the line. Okay, you want to be on hold at the Heaven Operational Center. You got stuff going on. When something's going down, you want to be able to get through immediately. And the lower your prayer score is, the longer it's going to take for you to get through. And mess around with Tamar and these stunt queens, just giving them all your thoughts and prayers. No, give it some thoughts.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you some thoughts. Hold off on the prayer till we find out a little bit more information, because y'all are playing dirty games and it's a mess and it's dark. And we don't want it no more.
I don't know why we're not evolving as adults, though, especially adults of a certain age. Like, why are we not evolving? We should be evolving.
Tamar, bye. We're not listening to the album. We don't care about the songs no more. K. Michelle has a country album coming out. I can't wait for that. Can't wait to hear the songs for that.
Oh my gosh. The shade. Okay.
I have nothing else left for Tamar. Let me look at my notes and we can go to the next.
Let's go on to the next thing.
Here. All right. I have, oh Lord. Okay. Let me get this queued up. We're about to get into some Love Island. We're about to get into some Love Island situation. But before we go to reunion,
season 7, the season just won't stop. My goodness. They ain't gave us no love on this island, but it won't stop giving us mess.
All right. So Ace sat down with Speedy Mormon.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave a little interview. I'm going to play a little clip of what he had to say when asked about Nick and Olandria.
My experience with that was, they thought each other were attractive, but it was never going to be more than just friends right then and there. And they were just, it was just going to be cool, and just as time goes on, Tierra gets, dragged out the villa. now it's a thing where I'm feeling like I have to be catering to know what's going on between Nick and Landry. What's going on between Nick and Landry? You know, it's part of, you know, the Love Island, you know, experience. But my experience with that was,
Okay,
you know,
so I'm gonna pull out my notes because,
Go ahead, go
and
for it.
baby, I took copious
in notes, but you go on here, you go first.
I took copious notes on this interview. So yeah, the sinus infection has really, now I have
It's
a
doing
lingering.
the thing. Yeah.
All right. According to Ace, he did think that Nick thought that Alandria was attractive on day one. They found each other attractive, but that they agreed that they were never going to be a thing. Sierra left. And then they tried to explore each other. But according to him, Nick maintained throughout the whole entire experience that we find each other attractive. There's no romantic spark. Okay. So he essentially is saying that he was surprised when they came out of the villa and that Nick and Landria was a thing. I'm sure you were surprised by a lot when you came out of the villa. Nick, my question to everybody else is this your king?
That was not what I thought the
Is this
question
your
was
king?
gonna be.
Whole interview, mad corny. But on brand. I was never a fan of Ace to begin with.
That's true. I can attest to that.
Now y'all are kind of seeing what I see.
Originally saw. Yeah, for sure.
He is so worried about everybody else and everybody else's relationship and how he is seen by people. And that is demonstrated through and through this entire interview.
Yeah.
He talks about feeling depressed and having some anxiety. He was worried about being portrayed as opposite as he is as a person, which I have a note here. Well, why would that be? Why would you be portrayed? Why would you be worried about being portrayed the opposite of what you are? You're so real, right? They're only going to get the real, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Let's just go through some of the highlights. He clarified that he met Shelly casually prior. Okay. On Amaya, he says that the clips essentially that we see of her where she's crying and she's emotional was all an edit. Because she was previously just telling him about some of the dramatic trauma that she's experienced in past relationships, and they kind of edited to look like she was crying in response to him setting boundaries. I'm really trying to get into Ace and these boundaries. Okay? Because during that heart race challenge, there were no boundaries to be set. There are no boundaries to be set. He says in this interview that he is half Mexican or that his family is Mexican, something like that. So he clearly understands using words of like love and babe and all that stuff. That was no big deal to him. But when it came to Maya, he thought that she was being too territorial and he just wanted to set some boundaries. Where were those boundaries when Huda was grabbing and grinding her cheeks upon thine face, Ace? Where were your boundaries? We saw time and time again where Jeremiah would say, oh, I'm not going to do too much. I'll participate, but I'm not going to do too much because, out of respect for the person that I'm trying to build this, blah, blah, blah. You had none of that, Ace. You had none of that. You had what I like to call just now selective boundaries. Again, I want to ask y'all, is this your king? Okay. On Austin, I took notes that Ace says that he can't respect Austin because he doesn't speak how he feels. He was sneak dissing on the internet, and I'm not a quote internet ass ninja. I'm not gonna sneak diss you on the internet. So that I say to you, Ace, was that not my eyes laid upon thine, yours, making a whole diss song? Who was in the booth? If you don't sneak this on the internet, who was in the booth? Who was on the ones, the tools? Who sent you the beat that you then recorded to and then reacted in a diss on published internet? That's where this took place. The song was put on the internet.
Yeah.
Let me see. Do I have any more notes? There was so much. He says on Sierra, she's always speaking on other people's relationships, that he starts to list his TV show appearances. He was on Jennifer Hudson's show. He was on this and that.
Yeah.
He didn't need to do this to grow his million, another million on top of a million. It's giving sassy. I'm not going to hold you. The whole interview was giving sassy. But when we're talking about speaking on other people's relationships, let's fast forward to you talking about Nick and Alandria. And I just have to ask you, who asked you to talk about Nick and Alandria? Did Nick and Alandria ask you to talk about relationships, their arrangement? Why is it okay for you to have your thoughts, but other people can't have their thoughts? And when those other people have their thoughts, they're not keeping it real, but you the realest one out here. I'm just gonna give it to you, friend. Did you have any? Because I have more, but did you have any notes or thoughts?
I have lots of thoughts. I don't have notes because it's clear that Ace does not take anyone's notes into consideration. So I simply have thoughts. The first wrong move with this, I want to unpack this. So give me a second. The first wrong move with this is him going on Speedy's platform. You were definitely not a friend to neither Olandria nor Nick, because Speedy has been absolutely against the idea of Nick and Alandria since the start of it. Okay. Also, going on Speedy's platform, this further qualifies Ace being red pill. That further qualifies it. I will admit, a lot of his bravado and everything that we saw in the villa and we now see outside of, the experiment that is Love Island definitely leans into red pill. We saw that on the show, how he wanted Shelly to sort of chase him. That is very red pill, that whole and she was like, I'm not chasing you. That was him trying to apply these things that he picked up, because he's only 22, 23. So he's trying to apply those things that he's picked up in the zeitgeist from these red pillars and apply it in real life. We keep telling them that crap does not actually work in real life. You can try it if you want to. So there's that. Then there's this whole I've been all up and through remember I said I was trying last episode, I said I was trying to come out of the Love Island psychosis, and the psychosis I was in was I was everywhere. I was on Nick's Snapchat. I was under Nick Alandria Yes, yes. I didn't even have that. I said, let me go over here and see what's going on. Okay. I was in the Snapchat. There's this fan page called Nicolandria Core. There's this other big page on TikTok and Nick's sister on TikTok, Ella. Like, just following, just trying to get my own gauge of like what's going on. And you can definitely see that Nick was keeping the fans like so engaged. But what you also picked up was him saying, like, I'm reaching out to Ace, he's not answering. And this is coming from whenever they left Disneyland and came off of that little photo shoot where Nick had on that. Nick had on quite the outfit for that photo shoot. But he rocked it. But the four of them. And that was when the core four sort of like, we thought it was going to be like a major thing. But after that, you don't see Ace and Nick together going forward. But Nick was constantly trying to get him on the phone, both privately and publicly. And he couldn't, he's like, I think Ace is just really busy, you know. He could not get him on the phone for anything in the world. Nick has told us so many times how much Nick's father, whom we never see, we always see his mom, we always see his sister, but we don't see his father, has told us that his father really admired Ace and how Ace was like forcing the boys to be a bit more mature in the villa. So we also got that. And then we have Nick being Nick. Nick's energy is very like he is an aspiring DJ of like these raves, right? These really like crazy parties, thousands upon thousands of people at these parties. And so that kind of put Nick's personality into context, which is where I'm going with this moving forward. If you are going to be that sort of person, period, a DJ, you're going to have that sort of neutral personality. And I don't think this matters if you're white or black or other. You need a neutral personality because you're going to be interacting with people all the time. They actually, I think it was Ella, his sister, who posted like old video of him and his sister are they are just like this. This is just them. Very fun loving, very silly. All of those things that we love to see Nick has brought out in Nicolandria. We have videos of when they were younger teenagers of them being like this, dancing on their mom's countertop. And she's like, get down. It's like so cute and funny. I say that to say that this is Nick's real personality. Moving forward to this interview with Ace and Speedy. Again, going on there, already you're saying you don't F with Nick. You're already saying that simply by accepting that particular interview. Because remember, when they come out of the island, what's the guy's name? The Veil someone and the Call Her Daddy. I think most get invited to that. If you ever pay attention,
they're Nick like an approved show that the guests go to.
He didn't go on those shows. Nick did not, because of the hate that was coming at, I would imagine, Nicolandria first, but also likely Shelly and Ace. Did not take those shows, right? And I do find it extremely problematic that he is pushing this narrative that Nick is not into Nicolandria. Whether he believes that's true or not. Like, let's say for kicks and giggles, Ace does believe that to be true. Let's just say that. Why is that, to your point, why is that your place to say so? And why is it your place to say so publicly? If this was the inverse, if this was Nick talking about you and your relationship with Shelly, we'd get another diss track. You'd be crashing out on the internet. So why do we feel so comfortable to do this to not only Nick, but also very much so to Alandria, who's already
Alandria.
receiving a ton of hate, and people are questioning their connection, which to this day, I don't know how, because babes, there was no love on Love Island this season, and the crumbs that we got from Nick and Alandria, I'm like, okay, because the fandom put together like these edits, which are 3 and 4 hours long. And so if you go back, no one's going to go back and watch all 36, 37 episodes. But when you go back, you're like, oh, they gave us Bridgerton. They gave us a season. Remember that first season of Bridgerton? You're like, are these people going to get together? That they not going to get together? What's happening? Like that push-pull, that slow burn they keep talking about. But Ace was 100% wrong. His maturity is not hitting where he thinks it's hitting. Someone said, I heard, like, you're mature, but you're not wise, and you can only grow wise with time. And I really do think he is all about self.
Yeah.
We have said, many people have said, Huda and Amaya they're operating in that same space. They just come off to people differently. Ace is also another one of them that operate in that same space. They're just different iterations of like the same energy. It's chaotic energy. It's energy that does not take accountability. It's energy where it's me. I only think about my feelings. But I'm going to say this too. I am very happy at the same time that all of this is coming out, because I could very much so see Nick was very genuine with both Ace and Taylor, because there's this whole other piece where Taylor jumped on a live while watching the interview. All of this stuff is being sponsored by one company, so that makes it look a little weird too, where Taylor jumps on a live and he is confirming everything that Ace is saying. I'm happy this is happening earlier rather than later. And the reason for this is Nick really believed that Ace and Taylor were his friends. He very much so really thought. So I know, just like you'd have hurt from, breaking up with a romantic partner, I know that this particular week, Nick is actually really, really, really hurt. I don't usually like follow people closely on social media like that, but since he's gotten out of the villa, he's spoken about them with such high regard. And it's actually been beautiful to watch, because I'm watching it and I'm just like, and it's something that they didn't even realize, because there's this envy that's there, because they cannot believe not only is he winning, and I don't understand why they won. He's a gorgeous boy. I don't care how y'all feel about it, black, white, I don't care. Nick is his parents made a gorgeous child, okay? But outside of him being attractive to look at, they did not think that he could win and reach the heights with Olandria. And that's the bigger conversation that really needs to be unpacked, because you have to remember, we can see Olandria's beauty very clearly. We can see that she looks like a doll. She looks like she was not made by humans, that somehow someone thought of it, sculpted her, and now we have this doll in human form. That's what she looks like to us. But to a certain subset of a certain group of men, they will never be able. And I'll tell you guys this happened a very, very long time ago. I'm also a cosmetologist. I was in a salon. We had a barbershop side, and they were getting into a conversation. The guys were getting into a conversation about celebrity women they were attracted to. And they ran through a plethora of women, and they got to Kelly Rowland. This part is very interesting. The guy who worked there, the barber who worked there, said, "Oh yeah, she's fine. Like, I love her. She's fine." And the guys was like, "Oh, so you do like dark-skinned women?" Because the conversation was ebbing in and out about like women's skin tone. And they say, "Oh, you do like dark-skinned women?" And this guy says, Kelly Rowland's not dark. There's like, nah, dude, like Kelly Rowland is dark. And he's like, nah, she's not. And I'm just in the back washing my client's hair. I'm just in the back shampooing, but I'm hearing all of this. And it was in this moment, like, at least for this group of guys, where I like, he only thinks of Kelly Rowland as attractive because in his mind, she's not of a darker tone. As soon as they clocked it and told him, no, like, yeah, Kelly Rowland would be considered dark skinned. Now all of a sudden he's like reconsidering if she's attractive or not. The reason that I tell you all this story is the part of the envy that you all are seeing from Ace and Taylor is they never saw it for Olandria. Like, they never even thought like she could be the one coming out of that villa with the biggest, you know, like fandom, the great love story. Like, they just never saw it for her. And so it's not only this envy of they're not Nick and Olandria, Clark and Taylor is not Nick and Olandria, Shelly and Ace, no matter how beautiful they look together, they're still not getting this amazing rollout.
Mm-hmm.
It's a conversation that has to happen in layers. It is very nuanced, and there are some people will hear this conversation and they'll understand every single thing I'm saying. Other people will hear this conversation and need to do a bit of research or not understand a single thing that I am saying. It has been in society, in the zeitgeist, that women who look like Olandria, whether they are beautiful or not, just that's not the ones where I get social currency off of. So they are confused. So first of all, they're confused. Second of all, they're envious, right? And now what we're seeing in real time, because this is, again, the reason that I've been locked into this particular season of Love Island, is that it's a microcosm of what happens in society every day. This happens in society every day, just in maybe an office setting, maybe a neighborhood, maybe a high school, maybe a college, but it happens every day. And so what we're seeing in real time is everyone crashing out. And something that was also interesting this week is a lot of stories came out from the fellow Islanders about Olandria's heart. They have confirmed, because we didn't get to see them all. Austin told a beautiful story. Remember when Olandria stood behind Austin when he was getting voted out?
Yeah, because they never showed that friendship be fostered on the show. We were like, that's random that happened.
And he went on that podcast, the Veil, I forget his first name, something Veil podcast. And that's the podcast that Nick and Olandria skipped. He went on that podcast and he took his time and he told the most beautiful story about how Olandria made the other guys be nice to him. Because when he came, he said, I've never modeled. I don't have socials. I'm working a regular job. And she, like, I was ready to go home when I first got there. She gave me all this, like, confidence, you know, to, like, have an experience too. And she went over to the boys and she said, hey, Austin is my guy. You guys be nice to him.
I know that's right.
And then we have like so many Islanders, Jeremiah telling us how amazing Olandria was to him. And now that he's learned that Nick had nothing to do with booting him out of the island, he's also come out and just like sang them praises. Like they're like, oh, now it's like Jeremiah is the president of the Nick Olandria Club.
Right.
Because he's like, I saw their chemistry at the reunion. Their chemistry just made me just like, oh, it's just so great. So we're like, why are you wanting to ruin this, Ace? Like, what is your motive behind wanting to ruin this?
He's trying to sabotage. He's like, it's not, you guys are taking your eyes off of me. It needs to be back on me. Everything that people were lauding him for and giving him praise for doing, I saw it as manipulation. I called it for being manipulative. He's very manipulative and he's very calculated. Think about when we think about celebrities, right? If you think about it from this perspective, if a famous celebrity gets pregnant and everybody is like, we want the first photos, give us the first photos, da 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 da. And then they're like, oh, no, we just want to be private. Just want to be private. But that same celebrity that says, I want to keep my kids private, comes out with a 9-page spread in Vogue. You have now clocked that they were trying to build up the interest and the equity and you know what I mean? Get the biggest bidder to put the photo shoot out there. And that's exactly what Ace was doing. Ace wasn't just chilling back because he was so into Shelly and he just wanted his private time and he just wanted to go back. He sat there and he was taking notes on all of his so-called friends. And went on there and was like, I'm going to say this and say this and say this about them. And that's going to reveal the truth. And they're going to get all that attention. Everybody that loves them or is not going to love them anymore. They're going to come back over here to me and realize I'm the real prize. And
it's like, nah, dude, like you just actually, for any of us that were giving you grace, you actually just confirmed everything. Actually, you just sped it up. And I'm going to go back to what my main point was before I went off on a bunch of tangents. And that is, I'm actually happy that this is happening earlier because Olandria and Nick together, separately and together, they're going all the way. They're going to the top. I truly believe that. And so there's no point in having darkness around you. So we got to get rid of it and get rid of it early because it can't be up there. And the same thing happened with Huda. I was so bought because I was on them people's TikTok. I was all over the place. And I told you when they first came out, Olandria seemed very down. We now know why. She revealed it during the reunion. And she was hugging Huda like Huda was a baby and giving her forehead kisses. And Nick was there. And I was already had just watched the last episode of Love Island. And I'm like, why is she in their shot in their final moment? Like, dang. And people were like, oh, everyone was in tight dresses. They couldn't swim. I'm like, okay, whatever. But then we get out and we're on TikTok and Nick and Olandria are just talking to us. Olandria looks a little down, but she's the one that's hugging Huda and giving her these kisses. And I'm like, wait a minute, what is this? What in the third wheel is going on? Let them have a moment together by themselves. You guys are in an Airbnb. There's still all these people around. What is happening? And I was like, that girl is going to bring Olandria down. She is leeching onto you all. And I'm like, Olandria doesn't see it. And so when she did that podcast, and it was a very hurtful podcast and commentary and chaotic and confusing, but I personally was happy that it had happened because it put that distance in between to gain perspective on this person.
Yeah.
And so now she's not able to, third wheel them, because that's if she would have been able to stay in the good graces of Olandria, she would have been all of these beautiful shots we've seen of Olandria and Nick. Huda would have been somewhere really close by. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like and I'm like, this God just does things. It's not for you to understand all the time. And the way that they are, because a lot of us that have lived experiences, we're a little older. We know that some people have been in our lives way longer than they needed to be. So the fact that they're able to, shave these people out of their lives very early on, and these people are telling on themselves, this is actually better for them in the long run. In the moment, it feels icky. It doesn't feel good. In the long run, it's going to be great.
We have to put this all into perspective, right? Just to close this out, these are people that have known each other for about 6 to 8 weeks tops. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
they don't really know each other the way they probably think they know each other, in the environment that they were put in just intensifies all of the bonding and the everything, because you're just all you have is
100%.
each other, right? With no people on the outside. And so it's going to take them time. And I think we're seeing in real time of them kind of being like, it's not even that you're not who I thought you were, is that I didn't really know you to
I didn't
begin
really
with.
know you.
That's the case. Like, to put it in perspective, these people did not know each other like that. And everybody had their own kind of ulterior motives, because at the end of the day, when you go on a reality show and you go on a popular reality show like Love Island, you do have an ulterior motive, like, period. And it's not making it be necessarily a bad thing, but you do, like the way Ace was trying to frame it of, oh, they're talking about how much we're going to grow. And yes, you're going to get some growth in following from going on a big show like that. And that's something that you're after, because otherwise, all of y'all look like Barbie and Ken's. You wouldn't be on a dating show. You just wouldn't have to do it that way. So let's just call a spade or an ace. And you guys are not real friends. You guys all had, hopes of this being your big breakout. And some people are getting, that attention that they came for. And some people are not, and they're jealous about it. And that is what it is. Let's just go ahead to our last topic, which is kind of still on the same train of thought as this segment, but let's just go ahead. Tap for the people, Love Island. Thoughts on Love Island reunion in one word. My word would be boring. What would yours be?
So, okay, one word.
One word.
Mine would be, I got to give it 2.
Okay.
Jeremiah's redemption.
Yes. Well, let's talk about it, Fran. You can kick it off.
So I too watched the reunion, and I did think, I'm like, if they were there for 14 hours and this is what you all pulled out of a 2-hour edit, you all need new jobs. But leaning into the positive, Jeremiah found his voice. Jeremiah found his voice. He found a way to speak up for himself. I think he had been a little bit afraid to speak up for himself because everything he kept saying and doing kept getting twisted. He had 2 manipulators between Huda and Ace, just kind of toying with and screwing around with everything he had to say. And so I think him leaving earlier and gaining perspective a little sooner than the other Islanders put him in a place where, and I love that he did it in like no bitterness. It was no bitterness on him whatsoever. He still called both like those people out. He called everyone out.
Yeah.
He asked for explanations. He explained himself. He is right. He was not love bombing. He was just moving too fast.
Yeah.
Moving too fast is not equivalent to love bombing,
No,
right?
Not.
And so I'm glad that he named that. And I like to see the difference of when Huda tried to move the goalpost of then now she's changing her definition of love bombing all of a sudden when he's explaining that. So I think from the reunion, Jeremiah's redemption arc is beautiful to see. I hope he keeps growing. But the rest of the reunion and what I've heard happened that got cut, I'm very uneasy about what they cut, why they cut it, what is the rationale behind not leaving it in. It's kind of upsetting, some of the things that got cut, because I still haven't figured out what's the motive behind cutting that out.
Yeah. I mean, listen, they should have listened to our notes first and foremost. Andy did not need to be hosting this, and Ariana didn't bring it the way Ariana could have brought it. There was a lot of information just from a production standpoint that needed to be colored in that were really serious topics, such as you mentioned the love bombing and the gaslighting and the, you know, those terms really needed to be, I guess, framed better. I would have loved to see them bring even maybe like an expert for a few moments just to say, hey, because we have younger viewers, right? So if you are experiencing this is what love bombing really is. This is what it entails. But let's give our guests or our participants grace because they were all on top of each other only.
Yeah.
Isolated on an island. No perception of time. Woke up with these same people, gave each other breakfast, went on dates with each other all day, and then canoodled in the bed together at night. So what you may have in real life when you have the space to say, hey, it's a little bit too much too soon, that could be an accurate assessment of love bombing. But in this context of this show, I don't think it was ever fair for them to say that Jeremiah was what he was doing was love bombing. And because that's such a serious allegation of a form of abuse that he could possibly have linger on him. And there were other things like the racism issue definitely got skated
They
over.
said it was so much more. It was a lot of things edited out.
It was super, super duper skated over. And I think it was only important because this show put these participants in a situation where they
position,
simply because they were on this show. And so to protect not only this cast, but any other future cast, it would have done them. Again, you needed a Black host. You needed Megan Thee Stallion there. You needed Keke Palmer there, but you just needed somebody there to be like, hey, this is not fair that these participants are going out in the real world and experiencing this level of harassment. I think Huda was
delusional, manipulative, calculated, annoying.
I will give her the 1 point, which clearly showed that she, in fact, did clearly state to Shelly that she had intentions on pursuing this thing with Chris. That was made so crystal clear that there's no way ever that Shelly could have misconstrued that. Everything else Huda had going on that day. Whatever do you mean? Whatever do you mean? I can't. It's Netflix. Like I can't.
I love that Netflix came through and called this out. I love that so much.
Who are you dating? I can't talk about that right now. I'm not.
You can't talk about that, but you can walk red carpets and go to club appearances with this person.
It's so bizarre. Like you're contractually obligated to fulfill the duties of this show, and Netflix would know that when signing you on to any other show.
Right.
That you have to talk about what's occurred and up until, you know what I mean? Like it was just so weird, and they just let her off the line.
But wait, they said no. They said that it got cut. Andy asked her this question several times, and then I want to also add some context to this as well, because I think this will be helpful to the listeners right now. This is Huda saying this particular lie to Andy Cohen. Like, I want you to think about that, right? That would be like lying to an accountant that does accounting all day long, okay? About how much money you pulled from an account. Like it just, if anyone knows how these things work, it would have been Andy Cohen of what you can and cannot say. I think he's probably in the room when they are writing these things. like it just made no sense. Like it just proved once again how much she struggles with the truth. Like hardcore. Just struggles. I really, in all seriousness, because again, to your earlier point, these are very young people. This is a very like it's a social experiment, really. I really hope that she finds herself in someone's therapist's office and she is committed to therapy for no less than 2 years, because she doesn't see herself. The self-awareness is not in the room with us.
Maybe she said, I've done a lot of growing. And Andy said, in 30 days, you done.
Exactly. And I will say this. Originally, I was like, Andy is not the best person to host it. And I still stand by, like, maybe not the best. But after watching the reunion, I'm not mad at him for hosting. I think the producers, because they said they changed the producers, the whole team from season 6 to season 7. And it is giving this new team does not know what they're doing. They just, because we didn't think that season 6 reunion was the best. For those of us who watched season 6, we got way more from season 6 reunion than we ever got from season 7 reunion.
Oh, yeah, it was boring. It was a lot of paying attention to
the sideline characters.
I didn't even remember. And then my biggest pain point of them all was that, why did you guys wait like more than 30 days to have this reunion? Like, we don't remember any of these storylines that intimately. Like, they started talking about Hannah. I forgot all about like the ups and downs of Hannah's. I was like, I'm so disconnected from this, because it's not like why the stories going after, like, we've been all on this Nicolandria and Ace and stuff, and so it's not in the forefront of our mind.
You want to know why this one was so challenging? Again, we have new viewers of Love Island, and when we have those who maybe have watched previous seasons, whether it's here or, you know, the other installments like in the UK or Australia. The reason why this one was so hard to hold on, I still remember everything from season 6, and that was a year ago. This was so hard to hold on to because everything kept rotating. We don't usually have like that many bombshells coming in one after another. Like, you have bombshells coming in, but the way that they just kept this moving non-stop, there was no, that's why, you know, it's the sentiment is going out like, this was Love Island. Love Island season 7 USA had no love on the island. There are usually connections that are made like from the jump where people are not sure about them and they're just stuck between these two people and they just keep bouncing back and forth between these two people. Not, I got 5 people pursuing me and I'm not sure which one. Then a 6th person has walked in and now I'm interested in that person and this person is getting kicked off the show. We don't know why. That's not usually the case. We usually have more of like a core of a cast.
Yeah, it's very fragmented.
You have bombshells coming in, but a lot of times those bombshells go right back out. Only like 2 to 3 bombshells will stick. Everyone else is like out. You know what I mean?
Speaking of bombshells that stuck, Clark, were you silenced or were you silent?
Silent.
Like,
that was so weird.
Like, did she say anything?
She answered Alandria's question. She answered Alandria's question. Alandria said when they were asking about Coco saying my man on Winter's podcast, and she said, "Did I say that?" And Clark was like, "No, you did not." And that's
why I don't remember. Because that was and she was like such a big part of the storyline and the story arc of Taylor and Alandria and where they ended up. It makes no sense that her and Taylor should have been more of a focal point. I kind of, this is just basically story producing and story editing one-on-one.
Producers are telling
Um,
you can look them up. They probably are not the most seasoned. It just did not give. They knew what they were doing. They had a lot of story there that they did not, to your point, tell, and they did not edit properly. I think Clark is also very uncomfortable. I think she's very uncomfortable with the position that she's been. I don't think anyone could have thought or guessed that they would have come out to Nicolandria. I don't think anyone could have ever thought that. But I think she's very uncomfortable in the position she's been placed in. And because there were, I'm not sure if it was said on the reunion or if it was said somewhere else, like in one of their like group interviews. Alandria and Clark said that they had a very mature one-on-one conversation, and they are very sad that it did not make the edit, apparently. And so I think Clark is a gorgeous girl. I don't think she has any ill will towards anything. I think she's just being dragged along for the ride.
It would have been very nice, to your point, for them to clear that up, because even when I saw that interview on Baby This Is Keke Palmer with Taylor and Nick, Taylor alluded to there being a bad edit that made it seem like Clark made like a funny face or shady face towards Alandria that may have upset Alandria, because Alandria was, to her understanding, they were cool. And so Taylor wanted to clear it up that Clark felt that was just a bad edit because it was a whole different day when she was making that face, and it wasn't even the same conversation, and she was wearing a different outfit. So even if producers didn't want to break that fourth wall and say that was like a bad edit, it still should have been like, where do things stand? Hey, Clark and Alandria, do you have anything you want to clear up? Where do things stand today with you two? Because I know you guys had a conversation. We didn't get to air it all, but anything you want to let each other know or the audience know? And then they could have had their moment. Put a button on it.
They probably did have it. It probably got edited out. They said Nick literally was in tears. He got very emotional when Alandria was addressing Huda with the whole racist attacks. And her stands, her fans, her supporters attacking both Alandria and Shelly. And Alandria spoke up and was like, we were close. And Alandria got emotional and Nick got emotional. They jumped to a whole other something else. Like they literally jumped to something else. All of a sudden, we just see Nick with bloodshot eyes, but we don't know why. We have no idea why.
It was
like,
all
why
very
would we
weird.
cut that out?
It just wasn't very interesting compared to.
It wasn't interesting. It wasn't
the expectations set up with all of the attention and hoopla. Yeah.
They could have done
unimportant people.
They could have done 30. They could have out of 2 hours, they could have dedicated 30 minutes to the junior varsity situation. Let it be cut out. Like, that's it. They got their 30 minutes. Whatever they can get done in that 30 minutes, that's it. That's what it is. I was extremely disappointed with the edit of the reunion. I was very though the way that Chris also stood up for himself.
He did.
I was happy to see that, because when he was doing his little interviews, because he didn't do too many, but the few that he did, and he was defending, I'm like, she is dragging you and you're defending her, because of the way that everything was being dropped. That's something else to be mindful of. And I don't know if that's on Love Island producers. The rollout of the interviews also caused so much chaos because the timeline was all over the place. Whether these podcasts or whatever need to say, this was filmed on such and such day and we are airing it on such and such, something needs to happen with that, because it made for a very wonky, chaotic.
I couldn't agree more. Take some notes from us. Next year for season 8, have this reunion like a week after, no more than 2 weeks after the last episode airs. Tell everybody to hold all their interviews until after the reunion airs, and then they can do the rest of the media tour, because it was weird. seeing the cast on the Vanity Fair spread, was that Vanity Fair or Teen Vogue? They all looked, everybody just looked like they don't like each other. Like, I think we can come to a touch and agree that these people are over each other. We can kind of wrap this up because they is not what we thought it was going to be with these long-term friendships and
romantic connections either. Pepe and Iris are broken up.
Well, I was
and Brian are broken up. The winners.
We have a after show and talk about all the breakups because more broken up than people are together. But yeah, it was wonky. Reunion was wonky. I was bored. But
I was bored too. I fast forwarded a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. And I had people here. I said, I gotta fast forward this part, y'all. This is
that's horrible. Not you got a viewing party. You like, oh, I can't make it through.
I can't. It was getting late. I was tired. I said, what is happening? I'm like, what is going on? So yeah. But yeah, I'm still rooting for Alandra and Nick separately and together. So I'm rooting for both of them separately, and I'm rooting for see if they can grow a connection together. Yeah. And Ace little Napoleon complex and his envy is not going to get in the way of that.
Well, let's go to our closing notes, and that is a good place
to go ahead and segue.
Okay, and close it on out. T, do you have any closing notes for the people?
I think to something I said earlier, it'll speak to everything we talked about, but specifically to Love Island. It's a microcosm of life in society, building friendships, romantic partners. Same thing with the whole Tamar situation, because Funky thought that he was building a friendship with her. I will say this to everyone listening. First of all, rejection is God's protection. I stand by that 100%. Do not get super upset, sad when people are suddenly moved out of your life, because you have no idea why that's happening. And 9 times out of 10, it is going to be to your benefit. That's my closing notes.
Important. I love that. My closing notes are going to be, why aren't we showing it? But my closing notes are just going to be more so around Ace. Okay. So what we saw with Ace is pull out my notebook. A tale as old as time. It's called When Keeping It Real Goes Wrong. Mm-hmm. Okay, so being honest and keeping it real, as valuable of a trait as it is, it does the opposite when you are being cruel. Your point is to be cruel with your honesty. And I think we can see that happening in real time with Ace. If he was doing this out of the purity of his heart, out of the love that he has, he would have stopped for a moment and thought, how does this impact my relationship with Shelly? Because this is her friend relationship that I'm talking about. Will this make them maybe have issues with each other? Because that's what you do when you're an adult. You have thoughts, and they may be honest thoughts, but before you say said thoughts, you think about the lasting impact and the impact that they may have on people. And then you think about, is it necessary for me to say my truth? Do I frame it in a different way, or do I have some tact and it's not really even necessary for me to say in this very public forum? What about your relationship or friendship with Alandria, because you said over and over and over again, Ace, that was your dog and that was your friend, I was going to be your homie forever, ever. But what did it mean for her to hear you go on this, again, public show and say something negative, though it be albeit true to you, about her relationship? See, we just don't do that as adults, mature adults, Ace.
Mature adults, no.
How honest and truthful you may be being. And my last closing note for you, Ace, is I want you to really think about all the bridges you may have just burned, right? You burnt relationships with Nick, possibly with Alandria, possibly with Shelly. You may have caused friction between Shelly and Alandria, and you are causing issues with the network overall.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because it was not your place to tell people what producers made you do. If they wanted people to know that, I'm sure they would have revealed that in the show. And so, hey, by all means, keep it real. Keep it real. But my advice and to just put a button in it is that keeping it real also comes with consequences. And we're about to see what those consequences may be in regards to y'all King's Ace. Because
but may I also add to your note?
Yes.
His version of keeping it real was his version of it.
Yeah.
His version of keeping it real was his truth. To put that into context, it's the same way he had his version of his thoughts on Jeremiah.
Mm-hmm.
And we see how that turned out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I told y'all this show was going to be a mess. I tried to warn you that today's shows was messy. The people were messy. But it is what it is. We made it through. Maybe we'll do an after show and we can take a deeper dive into who's still standing from Love Island and what's up next for that, because everybody broke up. Long story short, ain't nobody together no more, really, but Nick and Alandria. So we can
by the way, really quickly, if you guys have not listened to their interview, it was when they were very Barbie and Ken coded, that day where she had on the yellow half up, half down hair, and he had on that tan sort of outfit. They looked very 1950s that day. They did an interview with the New York Times Modern Love. And the journalist came back and did a post interview, and it was 2 days after the reunion when she did the follow-up to it's a beautiful, like, this journalist, I wish I knew her name. She is a great journalist. She asks all the right questions. If you haven't heard it yet, you've not listened, go check it out. It was really, really great.
Awesome. T, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me anywhere as T Shantae. I'm T Shantae everywhere. I don't really be on them. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. But
let's be clear,
that's where I am.
It's T _ Shantae. Because I went to T Shantae. That was not you, friend.
Shantae, and Shantae with an E, not an A. Don't ask me. Talk to my mama.
No, that makes sense. Shantae. That's an E. That sounds like because that would be Shanta if it was an A.
I always thought it should have been an A, but you know what? I'll take it.
Okay. Not too much on mama. Not too much on Mama T. You guys can find me everywhere at Chantel Siobhan. Thank you so much for watching us on episode 3. We made it to 3, friend. We have notes with T and Tel, and you can also listen to us if you're not able to you're trying to watch us at work or something, and you're not able to pull us up on YouTube. You can listen to us wherever podcasts are played.
Yes.
We're always just giving you the latest and greatest of what's going on in entertainment news and pop culture and a little bit of politics, and putting our unsolicited notes and spin on it. So thank you so much for tuning in. Until next week, guys. Bye.
Yay, bye.